So yesterday saw that it was the 10-year anniversary of Rogue One being released in theaters, and looking at the calendar now, at time of recording, tomorrow will be the 10-year anniversary, or I think it was 9-year anniversary of Rogue One, but tomorrow will be the 10-year anniversary of the theatrical release of The Force Awakens. That means it's been 10 years since Disney Star Wars officially began. Well, it's been well over 10 years since George Lucas sold it to Disney, but how has Disney Star Wars aged? I think we all know the answer to that question. Very poorly. But I remember back in the day, the arguments were wait in 10 years, wait and see in 10 years. The Last Jedi will be good. These movies will be better than you imagine, just like the prequels. The prequels aged like fine wine. You see, the thing about the prequels is they were made by the creator of Star Wars. They aged well because of things like Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, which I don't really not a fan of those Dave Filoni or some of the episodes of the Clone Wars, but I digress. Still, those movies age much better because of how bad the sequel trilogy is. And with the added notion that I have this YouTube channel and I did not get the chance to cover The Force Awakens when it was released in theaters, my thoughts now versus how they were 10 years ago when the film released are vastly different. So, what I'm thinking about doing is rewatching The Force Awakens and then giving you a review. I have not seen the movie in maybe more than 5 years at this point. So, I'm thinking about rewatching it and giving y'all a review because I remember my initial thoughts were the hype was insane. The hype was absolutely insane. It had been well over 10 years, at least since the previous Star Wars movie, or at least the live action previous Star Wars movie, which was Revenge of the Sith, had come out. And the hype for The Force Awakens was unlike anything else. The movie was like one of the highest grossing films of all time in the United States, I believe, domestically. And people were excited for Star Wars. People were excited for the return of Luke Skywalker, the return of Han Solo and Princess Leia and Chewbacca, all new stories. Disney was running the show, and we had everything to believe that this was going to be good. J.J. Abrams had a high reputation at the time for rebooting franchises. It seemed like things were going well. It seemed like we were on the right track. And I remember distinctly that there was a lot of mystery boxes with The Force Awakens. A lot of those questions from The Force Awakens never got answered. I remember that very vividly. But I remember the hype around The Force Awakens was astronomical. It was something different, man. And being a part of that is something that I'm just like, I cherish. Because I remember that I went on the Thursday night premiere with my dad to see it. And the crowd was insane. The crowd in the theaters, they were chanting, they were cheering, everybody was hyped. It was one of the best theater experiences I've ever been in. Seeing the reactions to the reveal of Kylo Ren as Ben Solo, as Han Solo's son. Now, I will say the reaction to Han Solo's death was shocking. And a lot of people were upset. And looking back on it, I remember after seeing it, for weeks after seeing the movie, I was still trying to cope with the fact that Han Solo was killed off. And in that cope, I didn't really manifest how shitty a decision that actually was. Of course, I'm an adult now, and I realize that that decision is shitty, and to this day, I still don't like it. But at the time, I realized what was going on, and I had a feeling that Harrison Ford was going to come back. And he did. He came back for The Rise of Skywalker in a shitty little appearance. But nonetheless, that moment was one of the highlights, and not always in a good way, of The Force Awakens. Then you have the argument about, is Rey a Mary Sue? Which is one of the biggest things. Who is Rey? The hype and the fan engagement around The Force Awakens at the time was something different. People were excited. People were happy. People like myself. I remember back in the day, and I'm not afraid to admit this, I was one of the people who was on the hype train of The Force Awakens. And I admit it. I was saying that maybe Disney buying Star Wars was the best thing to happen to Star Wars. That was after Rogue One. But then I saw The Last Jedi. And then I saw Solo. And initially I liked The Last Jedi. Or at least I wanted to like it. I tried to like Solo. Whenever The Rise of Skywalker came out, I could not like that movie. I tried my best. I tried to cheer in the theaters. I tried to get the hype around it. I tried to be good for The Rise of Skywalker. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wow, this movie is really bad. And so my thoughts, evolved over the span of a couple years. And now we're at the point where I'm like, I could give a fuck about Disney Star Wars. I don't care, bro. It's you pushed me away. You lost me as a fan. And so now I can confidently look back and be like, wow, looking at The Force Awakens, that is probably a really shit movie. So I'm going to probably do a review of The Force Awakens, but I'm just giving y'all my thoughts and what I experienced as a Star Wars fan at the time. And it's something that it peaked right there, man. Star Wars fandom peaked right there and then just went downhill after that. And there's nobody to blame but Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Mark Hamill, the entirety of Lucasfilm, and Disney themselves and Bob Iger. Those are the people to blame. Don't blame the fans. Not even the woke fans. Not even the ones who love Disney Star Wars. You can't even blame them. It's not their fault. They didn't create the project. They didn't create the movies. They didn't create the shows. It's not their fault. They just enjoyed it. So that's all I got to say about it. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. What y'all think about The Force Awakens? And I'm going to let y'all know my thoughts whenever I rewatch it. So, yep, we're doing this.